This Friday, your favorite emotions are back on the big screen in Disney and Pixar's Inside Out 2.
It's time to greet your Team Riley! It's anger!
Let me at him!
Fear!
Safety checklist is complete!
Disgust! Ew! Sadness is in the house!
Oh, no.
Hello, I'm anxiety. I'm one of Riley's new emotions.
Disney and Pixar's Inside Out 2.
There's a part 2? We're going!
Rated PG. Parental guidance suggested. Only in theaters Friday. Get tickets now.
Country remains one of the most popular genres in American music. While men have a tendency to dominate the awards and accolades, look at the sausage fest that is the Country Music Hall of Fame, country music is home to a constellation of incredible women stars. So for Season 9, the Great Pop Culture Debate wants to pay tribute to those incredible women singers and musicians as we debate the best country music diva of all time. With respect to Patsy Cline, when I go out walking after midnight, I come home with enough to cover the rent. I'm your host, Eric Rezsnyak. Please help me welcome my panel for this episode. First, welcome back to the panel, Southern Belle Curtis Creekmore. Curtis, if love can build a bridge, what can hatred build?
You're looking at it.
Mama, he's crazy. Next, he's often been on the wrong side of the vote, but up, it can only go up from here. It's Jake Lewis.
Eric, I have been twaining for this my whole life.
Ugh, I love that. Man, I feel like a dad joke. And finally, meet guest panelist Nicole Laidlaw, who probably just tumbled out of bed and stumbled in the kitchen.
Well, what can I say? I'm just a 9-to-5 girl, just trying to come to life.
Well, listen, Nicole, you are looking better than a body has a right to. And up in the producer booth, we have Bob Erlenbach, who has given us some straight talk behind the scenes. If you're curious about how we ended up with this Superstar 16, become a Patreon supporter of the podcast, or check out the bonus preview of this episode on your podcast platform of choice, in which we go through the whole bracket up to this point. And don't forget, you can head to greatpopculturedebate.com and find the listener bracket for this episode, as well as a special playlist with songs from every artist discussed in this episode, so you can play along with us at home. With that out of the way, let's go, girls, as we kick off these debates. First up, it's a unanimous victory for ultimate number 1 seed Dolly Parton, who ousted 4 seed Taylor Swift from the bracket, just like she took out that hussy Jolene for scamming on her man. But Nicole, you did want to say a few words about Taylor before we let her go.
Yeah, I mean, Taylor deserves all the accolades. She has got an amazing career. She's a global superstar across country genre, now pop. Over 1 billion streams on Spotify. I mean, just she's increased the viewership in the NFL of females single-handedly. So all the props. I'm definitely a Swiftie.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'll get in trouble for saying this, but I think ultimately Taylor's going to have a kind of legacy that rivals Dolly's, but we're just at that point with Dolly right now, so we will be moving Dolly into round 2. Next, it's another unanimous decision for 3 seed Loretta Lynn, who was indeed woman enough to boot 2 seed Leanne Rimes out of the bracket. You can't fight the moonlight, Leanne. But Jake, you did want to talk about Leanne first.
Yeah, so Curtis talked about it a little bit in the Patreon episode, but started super young, has had an amazing career. I mean, she's kind of fallen off a little bit lately, but you've got to think about Coyote Ugly. Would that movie have been the same without her on the soundtrack? I was brought up on her inspirational record where she was record. God, I sound old. Her inspirational CD where she did a lot of like gospel stuff and patriotic stuff, which I was allowed to listen to. So it was kind of like I was a normal kid. I loved it. So
you were hip and you're cool and with it.
Leanne Rimes was another just huge star in the 90s. And like I said, or I have said, the 90s country was my favorite country. So I think she deserves to be in the bracket. Does she deserve to stay in the bracket at this point? Probably not, but I do love her.
Well, thank you for that. And as Leanne herself says, and I do love you, but Loretta Lynn will advance into round 3. Next, one more unanimous victory as the panel remained in love with 1 seed Trisha Yearwood, which meant it was the end of the golden hour for 4 seed Casey Musgraves. Nicole, you did want to speak on Casey before we let her go.
Yeah, again, I just wanted to tell you, Casey is, she's clever, she's witty, she's got great style, super unique, so many hits. So just that beautiful tone of voice that's just not that typical country twang. So everyone's a big Casey Musgraves fan.
Yeah, and I will say, if you're listening to this and you don't consider yourself a country music fan, Casey's a great gateway drug, I think, from pop music into country music. Her stuff's undeniably country, but I think anyone could get into it, and I encourage you to check her out. All right, let's get into the actual debates. The majority of the panel thinks that there's no one else on earth like 2-seed Wynonna Judd, but Jake may hate himself in the morning for supporting 3-seed Leanne Womack. Nicole, won't you tell me why Wynonna deserves to be in our Elite Eight? Jake, don't wait until later to think of a reason to keep Leanne in the bracket now, and I'm going to have Nicole go first.
Happy to do that, Eric. Okay, let's just talk about Wynonna Judd. What a presence. I mean, gosh, that hair, I bet her drain is clogged a lot. I mean, she is an old name. It's like a family affair. The Judds, y'all. I mean, did you know her husband's name is Cactus? Isn't that fun? That's just a side note.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Kind of a super sad story, with her mom, Naomi. There's a lot of depression, food addiction, but, lots to overcome there. Sister Ashley. But let's just talk about some of her hits. I mean, No One Else on Earth. Why Not Me? I feel like I want to sing them to you, but that's not what we're doing here. Mama, He's Crazy. Love Can Build a Bridge. Y'all, who doesn't cry to that? Love is Alive, Grandpa. She's big, you guys. She went solo in 92 and with the million-selling Wynonna, and she scored nearly a dozen top 10 hits, including 6 number ones, number 14 on the Billboard U.S. country charts. Just strong, powerful Wynonna.
Thank you very much. Jake, talk to us a little bit about Leanne Womack.
Yeah, so I am perfectly okay with Wynonna moving forward. This is more of a tip of the hat to Leanne Womack. I think she's overlooked a lot as a country star, because I think she's kind of seems like someone that tried to cross over and didn't make it with I Hope You Dance, because there wasn't really a whole lot after that for the mainstream. Everybody knew that song, but they don't realize how good her catalog is. Tonight, go and listen to A Little Past Little Rock, The Fool, Last Call. Her voice is made for sad music, and that's what she gives you. She gives you sad music, and that's country to me. I'm supposed to listen to these songs and feel awful about everything. And I love that. I thrive in that environment. Like I said, super underrated. She leans into the classic country sound, which, again, Wynonna does too, but Wynonna also has dabbled in rock, and she rides that fine line. Leanne Womack is country. I mean, she is George Jones country. She is classic country. We went and saw her at a theater here in Dallas called the Kessler, and it's super small, and it was like we were sitting in her living room listening to her sing, and she captures your attention, holds it, and you forget how many amazing songs she has put out. She's a lot more than I Hope You Dance, and I believe she needs credit for that.
You guys have done great arguments here. Curtis, where are you coming down on this one?
For someone to be a Judd and still make it as a solo act known basically as her first name is a truly impressive feat. I adore Wynonna, and that's where my vote goes.
I love country music in that I enjoy the crossover country, right? Like most of the panel is people who really know country. I'm kind of the dilettante on this one. And I have to tell you, in doing my research for this episode, I was blown away by the Wynonna stuff. Just track after track after track was just slapping me across the face. I'm so in love with her right now. So for that reason, I have to give it to Wynonna Judd. But Jake, you did a terrific job talking about Leanne Womack. Wynonna Judd will advance into round 3. Next, the panel is currently split between 1-seed Reba McEntire and 4-seed Alison Krauss. Jake, don't say nothing at all and defend Alison Krauss. When it comes to Reba, Here's your one chance, Curtis. Don't let me down. Jake, I'm going to have you go first.
Yeah, so Allison, my vote for Allison is more of a personal preference vote, which I tend to do a lot. Reba has some amazing songs. Allison has great albums. I mean, she has released right in the wheelhouse of when I was getting into country, right in the 90s. She released Lonely Runs Both Ways, Forget About It, New Favorite. There is not a bad song on those albums. And I'm not going to say Reba's songs, she has bad songs on her albums, but I'm gonna say, so I don't get killed, I'm going to say that not all of the songs on Reba's albums hit for me like Alison Krauss's songs do. And once again, I mean, just recently surpassed by Beyonce for the most awarded woman at the Grammys. That's incredible.
There is something to be said for the album artist, which I think is increasingly becoming a rarity in any area of music. So I think it's a really compelling argument. But Curtis, talk to us about Reba.
This one's tough because I love Alison Krauss and all she has done for bluegrass and country music, but it's Reba fucking McEntire. There are very few times that I would use the pepperoni argument, but I really feel like this is one of them. And Nicole, you may not know what the pepperoni argument is, but when we argued about best pizza topping, pepperoni made it a really long way without even talking about why pepperoni was good. I'm actually going to tell you why Reba was good. Only one of these two women has been dubbed the Queen of Country. Only one of these women was originally cast in Titanic as the unsinkable Molly Brown, but had to turn it down because she had prior concert engagements.
I did not know that.
Yeah. It went to Kathy Bates. Only one of these women is still on television today, where she is actively impacting the careers of future artists in her work on The Voice, for good or bad. That is not even speaking to the depth of her musical catalog, on which I could speak for an hour at least. I will end my argument with this. Reba is another one of the artists on this list who is credited as being an inspiration for others' careers. A country music focused website said, as a role model, she has shown others how to handle fame with grace and good humor while never backing down from her values or goals. Just as importantly, she's shown others to refuse to accept limitations on what she can do and how much she can achieve. And she said, whatever I'm doing, I feel like I'm representing country music. It's always been my main career, and it's where my loyalties lie. I feel like I'm waving the flag of country music wherever I go, and I couldn't be prouder to do it.
Again, a great argument. Where are you on this one, Nicole?
Oh, gosh, Curtis, you've almost swayed me. Alison Krauss, though, is just, to me, she is country. She's got that pure voice that nobody else has, that perfect pitch. And I think that there's so many country artists that have, like I said, the collaboration thing with her. And then I go back to Jake because I'm like, it's personal too. I feel like I have a personal connection to Alison Krauss. So I'm going to stick with her, but it's nothing against Reba McEntire. I mean,
we're already in the difficult territories with this one. The top 32 is challenging to make decisions. The top 16 is going to be brutal. I think this comes down to which flavor of country works for you more, right? And I think you both talked about Allison gives you that pure voice, that bluegrass, that real musicianship. Reba gives me the grit and the drive of country that I love. And for that reason, I am giving it to Reba here. And since we are split 2-2, Reba is the 1 seed, Allison's the 4. And as much as it pains me to do so, Allison will be out and Reba will continue into the Elite 8. Next, the panel is currently leaning toward one of the OG Queens of Country, 3 seed Patsy Cline, while Nicole prefers one of its current bright lights, 2 seed Carrie Underwood. Nicole, tell us why you love Carrie as much as a cowboy Casanova. I will explain why I would fall to pieces if we kick out Patsy now. Nicole, are you ready for some football? You go first.
You're so cute. Okay, yes. I mean, let's just talk about Carrie Underwood. So everybody knows her music's iconic. I mean, 85 Billboard #1. She's multi-format, multimedia global superstar, music, television, film, design. Her followers, we call ourselves Care Bears. I mean, she writes her own songs. She plays guitar. She plays drums. Did you know she plays drums? She plays harmonica. She plays piano. She was influenced by the greats. So the Rebas, the Dollies. She's got look. She's got charm. She's got that voice. Gosh, can she belt it out? She's truly got it all. And not to mention, ladies, let's talk about her workouts. I mean, have you ever watched any of like her YouTube workouts with her husband? You should. That's what piqued your curiosity, didn't I? And they've got him on hyperspeed. So that's fun too. Those legs, I mean, her legs workouts are tough, y'all. So I also think she does a great spray tan.
I have to tell you, you've piqued my interest with the workout videos, especially the ones featuring her husband. So here's the thing. I want to make it very clear in my argument for Patsy. I am in no way talking down to Carrie Underwood or her fans. I am myself a bear and I care. So I in that way, I am a Care Bear. But I have to talk about Patsy Cline, who I think is one of the cornerstones of not just female country music, but country music, period. I'm not saying she's the first woman country star. I know she wasn't, but I think she is one of the oldest stars to really achieve legend status that expands far beyond, say, the Grand Ole Opry or the Country Music Hall of Fame. Even if you don't know country music, you probably have at least heard about Patsy Cline, which is all the more impressive because her career was so tragically brief. Patsy got her start in radio in the 1950s and started to achieve significant success in 1957 after a TV appearance of her singing Walking After Midnight got the song on the charts. In the early 1960s, she followed that up with a string of hits, including I've Called to Pieces, She's Got You, Leaving on Your Mind, and her iconic Crazy. Who knows what else we might have heard from her had she not died in a plane crash in March 1963. In my opinion, Cline has one of the very best voices on this or any list. The boldness, the richness of her tone, the plaintive quality in her delivery. She was pouring her heart out on these songs, and I think it struck a chord with listeners no matter what their gender was. In 1973, she was the first woman to be inducted into the Country Music Hall of Fame, 10 years after her death and nearly a decade after the institution was founded, which tells you not only how important Cline was to country, but also how difficult it was for women to get any recognition in the industry for many years. Would there be a Carrie Underwood without a Patsy Cline? Maybe. But more than that, I think Patsy Cline deserves to be moved forward based strictly on her artistic merits alone. Jake, where are you on this one?
Well, Nicole almost swayed me because I haven't seen any of Patsy Cline's YouTube workout videos. So,
either. That is a big demerit.
Honestly, like, the spray tan was not great.
There's a reason we called her Pasty Cline.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage.
You got to go with the, in my mind, the originator. I mean, she's kind of like, and again, probably not the first person to ever do it, but in my mind, like Patsy Cline, Hank Williams were like the originators of what I think of as a more modern country. I don't think you get the same Carrie Underwood without Patsy Cline.
Curtis, where are you on this one?
I could not be more Patsy Cline.
So, Nicole, I know that you're a Care Bear, and I hope that it won't turn into a frowny face now, but we are going to have to retire Carrie from the bracket, and we will be moving Patsy into round 3. Next up, 1 seed Shania Twain continues to get the majority of the panel good, but Nicole is strong enough not to bend from her support of 4 seed Tiana Tucker. Nicole, what is it about Tucker's sweet Western sound that makes her deserve Elite 8? Curtis, whose bed have your boots been under, and why are you standing by Shania? Curtis, you go first.
Which pair?
Right?
I argued for Tanya in the first round, and if you're not a Patreon subscriber, you should definitely consider it because those are some really great episodes. Shania is the clear winner of this matchup for me. Shania's impact on music in general, not just country music, is, I think, abundantly clear. Her third studio album, Come On Over, in 1997, is recognized by the Guinness Book of World Records as the biggest selling studio album by a female solo artist. Not country, all music. It also became the best-selling country album, best-selling album by a Canadian, and one of the world's best-selling albums of all time, selling over 40 million copies worldwide. Shania is not just a superstar, she is a mega star. It's such a shame that her career has been dampened by her bout with Lyme disease, which weakened her singing voice and is why you don't see her singing as much as she was. But at her peak, Shania was untouchable. Taylor Swift and Carrie Underwood both credited her for impacting their careers, with Underwood saying that Shania paved the way for a lot of us. How is Shania Twain not a member of the Grand Ole Opry? Because she's not.
That's an interesting little bit of trivia. I did not know that. Anything else to add?
No? Was that not enough?
No, it's good. I'm just checking. Nicole, talk to us about Tanya Tucker.
Well, let me just start by saying that this is a tough one because I'm just not a Shania Twain fan. Now, Tanya Tucker, that being said, I think it's really cool that she is still relevant today. She started her career, she wrote Delta Dawn in 1972 at age 13. She's one of the few child performers to mature into adulthood without losing her audience. I mean, she was so 80s, and I'm here for that, but she is so 2024 as well. She's had a little work done, but she's still going around playing, y'all. Last 5 decades, she's had 25 studio albums, 3 live albums, 30 compilation albums, 9 video albums, a box set, over 40 top 10 country hits, 10 number 1 songs. Shania was great for a little while. And then, I understand her Lyme disease and she can't sing, but Tanya has had a career that has spanned a lifetime. I mean, I can sing Delta Dawn if you want me to.
I love the song, I have to say. Excellent arguments. I'm loving this episode already. Jake?
My daughter's singing Delta Dawn downstairs.
Jake, where are you on this one?
So the Shania discounting, sure, she has some health issues. I saw both of these people perform this year at ACL. Shania was headlining. Tanya was on one of the stages somewhere. I do not enjoy Tanya Tucker. I think Delta Dawn's a great song, and that's about the end of it. Shania is Shania effing Twain. Nicole and I disagree on a lot of things, but Shania, it was a household name. She is a household name. Everybody knows who she is. You ask a kid now who Tanya Tucker is. I mean, besides Nicole's kids who are currently singing Delta Dawn, everybody knows Shania, and she still sounds incredible.
I'm going to throw a wrench into the spanners. I'm switching my vote to Tanya Tucker here. And it is not because of the briefness of Shania's reign, because the reign was so high that it's almost irrelevant how long it lasted. Like it stratospheric, right? But to me, there's the pop country crossover, and she leaned almost more into pop than she did with country, even though it's unescapably country. But Tanya's country. Tanya is like dyed in the wool country, and I love her music from all her decades. I really do. It doesn't matter because it's 2 for Shania and 2 for Tanya. Tanya's a 4, Shania's a 1, so Shania will continue into the lead 8, but excellent argument, Nicole, you sold me. Finally, in round 2, the panel is evenly split between 2-seed Faith Hill and 3-seed Martina McBride. Jake, why does Faith Hill remain a wild one worth keeping around? I will explain why when it comes to Martina. This one's for the girls. Jake, please go first.
So I think Faith is a little unique in this bracket. I was actually at the time, I was a bigger Faith Hill fan than a Shania fan. They were kind of the Britney and Christina of country music at the time. They were kind of competing for the same audience. What made me not like Faith as much is if you listen to her early songs, her early albums, like everything before like 98, she has a very, very strong country accent. And she, whenever Breathe hit, she started to transition into a more mainstream accent. So I voted for Faith because I love Faith, but I love Faith pre-98 with one exception, her 2002 album, Cry, because I will scream that song in the shower or anywhere, because as I've already stated, I love a heartbreaking, sad song. But she's had an amazing career as well. She's not holding up as well as Shania is right now as far as stardom is concerned. But she's had multiple hits with Tim McGraw and without Tim McGraw. She Don't Need No Man. But it matters to me. Bed of Roses, Someone Else's Dream, It's Your Love. Again, songs everybody knows that were not her big pop hits. So I think she deserves to move on over Concrete Angel / Independence Day Martina.
All right. Well, so let me talk a little bit about Martina here. So I feel like Martina is the kind of country artist that up-and-coming country artists looked up to. For example, I clearly remember Carrie Underwood on American Idol saying that Martina was her inspiration as a singer, and I'm pretty sure Independence Day actually was her initial audition song. There's no doubt that Martina had a profound impact on the female country stars coming up in the 2000s and into the 2010s. Martina has won the Country Music Association Award for Female Vocalist of the Year 4 times, tying with Reba McEntire for the third most wins. She won the Academy of Country Music's Top Female Vocalist Award 3 times. She's been nominated for 14 Grammys, but has never won, which I learned in my top 10 Grammy snub list, which you should absolutely check out in the bonus section of our website, greatpopculturedebate.com. Her songs should be recognizable to people even if they're not necessarily country fans. In addition to Independence Day and Concrete Angel, A Broken Wing, and especially This One's for the Girls, had major crossover success while never sacrificing her authentic country sound. With that being said, Curtis, where are you on this one?
So I sang It's Your Love at my sister's first wedding. Let's just say there's been a second. I also sang Independence Day at a karaoke event that I hosted in my freshman dorm. Category was Butch Queen First Time in Drags. I'm going to go with Martina only because in How the Grinch Stole Christmas, Faith Hill sings the word "chiangin," and I can't get over it.
That's a very specific rubric, but there you go. Nicole, where are you on this one?
Yeah, I'm 100% sticking with Faith on this one for all the reasons Jake already mentioned. Also, have you guys seen 1883? I mean...
Oh, I didn't know she was in that.
Yeah, her and hubby Tim. So great show. But yeah, all the things Jake said. The only thing that prickles me about Faith Hill is, she seems a little snarky, a little, that's okay. I mean, she's got a voice.
Bless her heart. That's what we would say, right? Bless her heart. All right. So that means we're evenly split, and Faith is the 2 seed, which means she will advance into the Elite 8. And that's it for the end of round 2, folks. We're going to take a quick break to be nice to the gentlemen, since Fancy said they'll be nice to us. We'll be right back after these messages.
$5 can't buy you much these days. In the 90s, a Big Mac Extra Value Meal rang in at $4.59. Today, that same meal will cost you $7.89 and leave you filled with regret. You know who would never do that to you? The Great Pop Culture Debate. For just $5 a month, our Patreon supporters gain access to a treasure trove of unaired content, like those secret fries at the bottom of the bag. So if you're hungry for some delicious pop culture content, pass on the Big Mac and head to greatpopculturedebate.com to become a Patreon supporter today. Now I'm hungry.
Step into the world of power, loyalty, and luck.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
With family, cannolis, and spins mean everything.
Now, you wanna get mixed up in the family business.
Introducing The Godfather at ChumbaCasino.com. Test your luck in the shadowy world of The Godfather slot.
Someday, I will call upon you to do a service for me.
Play The Godfather, now at ChumbaCasino.com.
Welcome to the family.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply.
It is Ryan here, and I have a question for you. What do you do when you win? Like, are you a fist pumper, a woohooer, a hand clapper, a high fiver? I kind of like the high five, but if you want to hone in on those winning moves, check out Chumba Casino. At ChumbaCasino.com, choose from hundreds of social casino-style games for your chance to redeem serious cash prizes. There are new game releases weekly, plus free daily bonuses. So don't wait. Start having the most fun ever at ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
And we're back for round 3 of our Best Country Music Diva debate. Before we get into the Elite 8, I'd like our panelists to share their social media and also tell us a little bit about how they got involved with country music, how they became exposed to it. Curtis, how can people reach you, and how did you get into country?
No one can reach me. I am on some things at Curtitch, Curtitch. I got rid of Twitter, but I'm still on Instagram, so you can follow that account that does nothing. I feel like as soon as I popped out of the womb, I was listening to country music. I'm originally from rural southeastern Kentucky, and I didn't like country music until, very similar to Jake, like the women of 90s country is just the sweet spot. That's where it came out. The Shanias, the Rebas, the Trishas, all that. That's really when I started loving it. And my drag persona is named Jolene Sugar Baker Devereaux because of Dolly Parton. So I think she had a decent impact on my life.
I'd say so. Thank you. Jake, how can people find you, and when did you start listening to country music or get exposed to it?
Yeah, so I am at That Takes the Jake on Instagram. Much like Curtis, I post hardly nothing most of the time. As we've discussed before, I was raised in a very conservative household. So most of my early country was like Southern gospel or Christian country. But yeah, once I was a teenager and could sneak around and listen to it, Pam Tillis, Patty Loveless, those girls got me through the 90s in the best possible way. Yeah, so they were my early divas.
Excellent. And Nicole, how can people find you online? And also, what's kind of your background with country music?
Yeah, thanks, Eric. You can find me at Nicole's Cabby Corner on Insta. And I am from Fort Worth, Texas. So, I mean, like the birthplace of all things country. I grew up in a household, I mean, back in the day, I'm much older than these young chaps here with older country. So like George Jones, like that was a big one in our house. My mom used to go to the White Elephant Saloon down in the stockyards all the time. She was married to a rodeo clown. So we spent a lot of time doing rodeo circuit stuff and hanging around cowboys. So, and I've just kind of progressed. I maybe fell off a little bit in the 90s because I was in college. So and I went to college in University of Miami, go Canes. And so I would probably, hit a little techno dance then, but I'm back in it.
Well, then you will love our best 90s dance hit episode, which is actually coming out as we record this on Monday. But tell me about how I can meet these cowboys that you used to hang out with, because
I've got you. I've got you.
Thank you.
I got
Excellent.
you.
Perfect. So for me, I actually remember we did a cross-country road trip in the mid-'80s, and I was in the back of my grandparents' car, and they had 8 tracks of the men of like classic country. So I remember hearing it then. But it wasn't until the 90s, and again, the women of 90s country, that I personally got really interested in it. And true confession, I stole my mother's She Daisy CD from her, and I never gave it back. That is the truth. And you're never getting it, Mom. So how can you find me? You can find me at Eric Rezsnyak on Instagram, but really you should be following at Great Pop Culture Debate on Insta or TikTok, or at GPCD on Mastodon. But really what you need to do right now is to sign up for our weekly newsletter, which comes out every Monday at noon, and it tells you about everything new in pop culture that week. Sign up by finding the link on this episode at greatpopculturedebate.com, or just go to the link tree on any of our social media accounts. With that out of the way, let's move into round 3 so we can sing some white trash version of Shania karaoke. We're going to do around the horns on these ones. It is first 1 seed Dolly Parton versus 3 seed Loretta Lynn. I'm going to start at the top of the pack with Curtis, Dolly, or Loretta.
Again, a really challenging choice, just because Loretta has done so much for country music and is like one of the godmothers of country music, but so is Dolly Parton. She's just still around to continue to impact music in general, so my vote goes to Dolly.
Jake.
Same, yeah. Dolly all the way.
Nicole.
Dolly's my girl.
Yeah, if Loretta Lynn is the godmother of country music, Dolly is the god of country music, and also the mother, as the children now say. So I'm 100% going to give it a clean sweep to Dolly. And we haven't really talked about the esteemed Ms. Parton just yet, but I'm confident we will when we get to the final four. Next up, it is 1 seed Trisha Yearwood versus 2 seed Winona Judd. I'm going to start in the back of the pack. Nicole, Trisha, or Winona? Who are you going for?
Oh,
yeah.
It's a really, really tough one. But I'm going to stick with Winona on that. Yeah.
Great. All right, Jake, where are you?
Old.
I'm going to stick with Trisha.
Okay. We haven't really talked about Trisha either, so I'm definitely going to want some conversation about it. Curtis, Trisha, or Winona?
I'm going to go with Trisha as well. And I'll speak a little bit to Trisha. I love Winona Judd. I am a huge Winona Judd fan. I think Winona's voice is different than most of the other people on this list in just the terms of like the huskiness to it. But Trisha put out some bangers. X's and O's. There's just so many that are also like Trisha's one of those on the upper echelon of country queens for me. So I'm going to push her forward.
I would be voting for Winona here. I think that she does bring a different flavor. There's nothing against Trisha Yearwood. I agree she is the upper echelon. She is in some way like the literal queen of country as she is married to Garth Brooks. But Winona to me brings a different element to this conversation. She has country legacy going for her, but she also is a superstar in her own right. And just from personal preference, listening to both of their catalogs for the past few weeks, I can't tell you the number of times I went back to Winona Judd over and over and tell me why. I mean, God, Trisha's great. I'm not knocking it, but Winona gets me right in my soul. She really does. I just think she's incredible. And again, if you don't normally listen to country music, give Winona Judd a try. She is just an animal, and we're really lucky to have her. But it's 2 for Trisha, 2 for Winona. Trisha's a 1 seed, Winona's a 2, which means Trisha advances to the final 4. Next, it's 1 seed Reba McEntire versus 3 seed Patsy Cline, starting in the middle with Jake.
I'm going to give this one to Reba.
Okay. Nicole, Patsy or Reba?
I'm going to give it to Patsy.
Curtis?
Okay. So Patsy is, without Patsy, there is no Reba. However, there is still a Reba, and I think unfortunately, Patsy passed away in a very traumatic way. And I spoke during the Patreon episode about some other traumas that Patsy went through in her life. Like that is I will say, cursed existence. She went through so much and made it so far, which is really impressive. But I'm still going to give it to Reba because Reba has made just an indelible impact on not only country music, but the world.
I would give it to Patsy. But that is not to disrespect Reba. We've talked about Patsy's kind of big hits. We actually basically not talked about Reba's at all. And I mean, obviously everybody knows Fancy, but Does He Love You is one of the all-time great camp duets. Like it is, if you've not watched that video,
the
Curtis,
music video and the music video. Yes.
She blows that man up. Which I love. We love a petty queen. Petty is our signature color here. Mm-hmm. But she's got so many incredible songs. I'm fine with Reba advancing here, but my heart is with Patsy, and I would like to see some representation for kind of the 4 mothers of country here. But I understand why Reba is advancing in a best country diva bracket. So we will be moving Reba into the final 4, given the split vote, and she's a 1 seed. Finally, it's 1 seed Shania Twain versus 2 seed Faith Hill. Nicole, I have a feeling that you're going for Faith Hill here. Am I right?
I am. I'm sticking with Faith.
You have faith in faith.
I have faith.
And hope in faith.
I have faith and hope. You guys are going to change your vote.
Let's see what happens. Curtis, where are you?
I'm afraid not. Faith Hill is almost like bubblegum country, I think. I just coined that. Like, it's very surface level country, and I just never truly got that deep with her. Whereas Shania has multiple different layers, and I think that her discography in total is just stronger than Faith Hill's. So I'm going to vote for Shania. I've made an enemy today.
You have. Nicole is throwing daggers. All right, Jake, where are you on this one?
If you would have asked me in like 1998, it would have been Faith Hill. What Shania has done since then gives it to Shania for me. I think Cry alone, we bonded over Cry, Curtis. You can't call that bubblegum country. You don't cry to bubblegum country. But yeah, I think Shania just has the discography to pull it out here.
And all respect to my colleague Curtis Creekmore, but I don't think she's bubblegum either, because I do think Wild One, which is one of her earliest songs, I wouldn't necessarily call that bubblegum. And certainly I don't think Breathe is bubblegum. I think it's actually got quite a bit of like pathos to it. I think it's a beautiful song. It doesn't matter what I vote for here. Shania is advancing. I'm torn, but sure, I'll give it to Faith just on principle alone. It doesn't matter. Shania is advancing. So with that, we have our final four. We're going to take a quick break to sign some letters with X's and O's. We'll be right back after these messages.
Enjoying this episode? Did you know there's a playlist of songs to go along with it? We make them for most of our music-based episodes, as well as weekly collections of our favorite songs, past and present. Head to greatpopculturedebate.com and click on the bonus section, where you'll find tons of curated playlists to pair with your podcast experience. Happy listening.
Hey, are you a super fan of Taylor Swift, Jelly Roll, or Morgan Wallen? Are you that song nerd who likes to dive into every little lyric of every little song and figure out what everything means? Do you want to take that a bit further, though? Because I have a podcast called Songwriter Soup, and it dives into the journey of a songwriter and how those people help craft the soundtrack of your life. I'm Laura Veltz, and I'm bringing all of my friends together to discuss our funny little job writing for all of your favorite artists. Listen to Songwriter Soup wherever you get your podcasts.
And we are back with the final four of our best country music diva debate. At this point in the show, I always like to take a step back and see if we ended up where I thought we were going to. It's another instance where we actually have all the number one seeds in the final four. That doesn't happen very often on this show, but here we are. It is 1 seed Dolly Parton versus 1 seed Trisha Yearwood, 1 seed Reba McEntire versus 1 seed Shania Twain. We're going to start at the top of the round with Curtis. Dolly Parton versus Trisha Yearwood.
Unfortunately, this is no contest for me. Dolly Parton is just the quintessential country. Not only is she amazing at what she does, but she is also the dictionary definition of a country diva. She is, and I say the word all the time, phenomenal. She has had decades of amazing music, inside, outside country. She is a performer. She is the performer's performer. She has had to struggle to be where she is today. And not to say that that wasn't the case for anybody else on this, but to be where she is and to have the approach to life that she does, dragging us all by our ears along with her, she is the queen.
Nicole, where are you on this one?
Aunt Granny all the way. I mean, did y'all not know that Dolly Parton is called Aunt Granny?
I didn't know this.
Oh yeah,
Clearly, I'm not a real Dolly fan. I'm a Folly. I'm a faux Dolly fan. Yeah.
Yeah, you're a Folly.
Yeah.
Yeah, Aunt Granny for the win. Since on this one, I mean, there's all of these women are great, right? I mean, they all have contributed so much, but Dolly just has. She's just record breaking. She's life giving. She's generous and good, and she's not afraid to speak out. I love that about her. The Leo in me loves that.
Dolly Parton.
She's got an amusement park.
She does have an amusement park. Where's Trisha Land? That's what I have to say. Where is it?
On the Food
Six
Network.
Flags over Trisha Yearwood. Jake, where are you on this one?
I would 100% go to Trisha Land today. I would leave this podcast and go directly there. I don't think this is a fair fight. Trisha is who Trisha is, and she's amazing. I believe she deserved to make it to this round for sure. But yeah, it's Dolly Parton. I mean, you can't compete with Dolly.
Yeah, and I think you just said like it's not a fair fight, and there are people when we initially did this, they're like, "Oh, it's obviously going to be Dolly Parton." But one of the things, and I don't say this enough actually on the show, that we do here. If it seems like an obvious winner, which we're not there yet, who knows? Something crazy could happen. But we're talking about celebrating all of these women in country, not just one. And it's an opportunity to share great pop culture, no matter who the winner is. Trisha Yearwood is, like we said before, an actual queen of country, married to Garth Brooks, and a very successful artist in her own right. She's up against Dolly Parton, who like defines country, like literally born in the backwoods Appalachian hut, no running water, and now has an amusement park. Dolly Parton. So Dolly advances to the final two. Finally, in the final four, Reba McEntire versus Shania Twain. Jake, where are you?
This one's for Nicole. I'm going to vote for Shania Twain over Reba McEntire. I'm not just going to make Nicole mad with that. I can hear all of Texas screaming at me right now. Reba, again, it's a catalog thing. I enjoy Shania's catalog more than I do Reba's. I know there's a sugar baker in the chat, and I know the Nights Went Out in Georgia is going to come up at some point. But yeah, it's Shania for me, and I know it's a losing battle.
This is the night that the lights went out in Texas after this. But yeah, Nicole, I have a sneaking suspicion, but tell me where you're going.
I all of a sudden love Reba. Like, she's my number one gal. No, but I do think Reba has a much more iconic career than Shania, no disrespect. I mean, and not just in country music. I mean, in television and movies, like you said, the Titanic. I mean, she was almost on that. And in the way that she is inspired of women and artists and just generations.
The star of Tremors, Reba McEntire. Curtis Creekmore, where are you on this?
Excuse me, aren't you Marjorie Lee Winnick, the current Miss Georgia World? I'm Julia Sugarbaker, Suzanne Sugarbaker's sister. I'm not gonna do the whole thing, Bob. No, I wish I could. Reba McEntire is, to me, country legend, icon, star. She transcends country. I think I've stumped for Shania in every battle up until this point, but for me, Reba wins here.
I also give it to Reba. I think we haven't talked that much about her individual songs, right? Like, and I like, Curtis, give me some of your other favorite Reba songs.
Oh my God. So Does He Love You is probably one of my favorites. The Heart Won't Lie, the duet that she did is truly beautiful with, I think it's Vince Gill, right? And he's in the video with her, which is really crazy. But even some of her more recent songs, now not a ton of them. I'm not a huge fan of the more recent stuff that she did, but I'm a Survivor is a really great song that she used for the theme song of her sitcom, which was watchable. I'm not going to say that it's the greatest thing, but some people really loved it. Is There Life Out There, and the video where like she goes to college as a mom and like has to make it work. She has some really strong songs. Does she also have some songs that I skip over when I listen to the records? Yes, most people do.
I will also give a tip off to Somebody, which is a very sweet song. And I don't know if it's popular with everybody, but I always thought it was a really sweet one. But regardless, we have a final two. Dolly Parton versus Reba McEntire. It would always coming down to this, two strong Southern women duking it out. I'm going to start in the middle of the pack. Nicole, where are you on this one?
Well, what have we not said about Dolly? I mean, so we've already just called her the greatest of all time. She's the GOAT. Couple of cool things that I think about. Did you know that she's won 3 Guinness World Records? Right. I don't know. I just know she's won 3 Guinness World Records.
For being awesome. That's for being
awesome, for the biggest hair, I don't know. I said earlier too, I think one of the cool things this is like a really cool thing about her. She's been married since 1964 and her husband has largely stayed out of the limelight. Like, that's kind of a cool thing about her. Super, super generous. You can just read all about her generosity, especially if you've ever been to Sevierville, Tennessee. Dollywood, that whole area, the way she gives back to the communities there. Her amusement park is just, it's super clean. You can eat off the ground. Like, that's important to me. And she's just damn fun. Like, all the memes, y'all, I mean, there's just so many things. Like, she's just spans everything. She spans everything, every generation, every gender, every orientation. She's got it all, man. She is the entire package. Mic drop.
I looked them up because she has 10 Guinness World Records. She just got three most recently. Most studio albums released by a female country singer. She has released 65 albums. What? Most entries on the top country albums chart by a female artist. She has 48 on that list. And then the longest span of number one hits on the top country albums chart by a female artist, 43 plus years of number one hits on that. In addition to everything that Nicole was saying about her generosity, there are so many children in this country that can read because of Dolly Parton, because of the book program that she has set up to give free books to all children up to the age of 5, I think, or something like it's something wild like that. And regardless of what you think about what your stance is on vaccines, she was a huge benefactor for Moderna, I believe, to create and distribute the COVID vaccine that Moderna put together. This woman is a legend. She's not just a country diva. She may be God. I'm not totally certain.
So I'm assuming you're voting for Reba McEntire.
No, it's written out. Yeah, Dolly.
Jake, where are you voting on this one?
So this doesn't have, at least on the ones that I've been on, obviously the music ones, we haven't really mentioned many Dolly songs. She's just a great person. But 9 to 5, Here You Come Again, Islands in the Stream, Coat of Many Colors. Like, there's so many amazing. I Will Always Love You. We didn't mention Whitney Houston one time. That's it. And she still made it to the end of the bracket without anybody batting an eye. Her music speaks for itself. Her humanitarianism speaks for itself. I think Dolly is the clear winner.
And I will say, speaking of her music, she's still making music to this day. She just released Rockstar in like December of 2023. Her album before that was, I think, a bluegrass album, which was beautiful. She did like where she actually partnered with a very famous author for like a book around it. Like, she's incredible.
She like 100% looked better in a Dallas Cowboy cheerleader outfit than the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders.
And
Absolutely.
People were mad about that because she did look so good.
And let's also talk about that a little bit, because we haven't. She was objectified so much, especially early in her career, and she had just struggled to get respect. And God damn it, she did, not just as a singer, but also as an actress. Like, really, it's incredible what she has done in her lifetime. It's actually shocking how much she has accomplished. I don't know anyone else who's accomplished anywhere close to what Dolly Parton has. I am voting for Dolly here, where it's a clean sweep. And I will give one story. I saw her perform live maybe 3-4 years ago at Tanglewood in Massachusetts. I unfortunately was not able to get a seat inside. I was on the lawn, but you could still hear her. And what really it was remarkable that, number one, incredible energy in that show. She's so funny. She's so funny on stage. There's a part where she's, doing the little bit with her band. She's like, I can sing that, I can perform that backwards. And like, go for it, Dolly. And she has a little saxophone that's bejeweled, and she turns around and does it backwards to the stage. And she's like, now you owe me your money tonight, but whatever. Her voice is still so pure and crystal clear in 2020 to, I guess it would be late 2010s. How is that possible for someone who has been singing since the 1960s? It's truly incredible. I don't think there's an artist in any genre that comes close to what Dolly, I will share maybe the closest, but what she has accomplished is amazing. And I don't care if it's an easy win. Dolly deserves it. There you have it. Our pick for the best country music diva is Dolly Parton. Do you agree? Do you think we're all taken and no given? Tell us how you really feel by leaving a comment on this episode at thegreatpopculturedebate.com or find us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, or Mastodon. While you're there, make sure you subscribe and follow the podcast so you can hear about what new debates are coming soon, vote in open polls, and even decide which topics we tackle next. If you really enjoyed this episode, please take a minute to like and rate the episode on whatever platform you listen on. I want to say thank you to my panel. Here you come again, and there I go. And thank you for listening. If you loved what you heard, please consider supporting us on Patreon, where you can get even more exclusive content and to get episodes a whole day early. We hope you have a good one, and remember, everyone is entitled to their wrong opinion. Jesus, take the wheel.
Step into the world of power, loyalty, and luck.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
With family, cannolis, and spins mean everything.
Now, you wanna get mixed up in the family business.
Introducing The Godfather at ChumbaCasino.com. Test your luck in the shadowy world of The Godfather slot.
Someday, I will call upon you to do a service for me.
Play The Godfather, now at ChumbaCasino.com.
Welcome to the family.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply.